Mogami arc. We are there.
Mogami. Yeah, here we are.
This is it. This is the highly anticipated part of this season.
This is one of the arcs a lot of people who read the manga were really not looking forward to, but also scared of.
Looking forward to in a way that makes you scream.
Yeah.
And be in pain.
Yeah.
But it did not disappoint this first
really
episode.
Well. Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really exciting to see as we get into the parts of the manga that are more exciting. I think the first 3 episodes were sort of, I liked them, but it wasn't a lot of content that I was like super excited for.
Yeah.
But now going forward, like every single episode, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, now it's just like really getting into like, because all of Mob Psycho is really emotion driven.
Yeah.
And like that's the main conflict is like emotions and how they drive you. And so now we're really getting to the thick of it and like those really specific arcs.
Oh.
And Mogami really starts it off.
It is good. And we had a lot of setup for this arc over the last couple episodes.
Mm-hmm. Mostly.
And now we're getting that payoff.
Yep. So the episode opens with a little flashback of Dimple. Bold bones to assume I care about Dimple at all.
that was actually surprising to me. I didn't know how they were gonna open this episode, so I was like, Dimple?
Yeah.
In my Mob Psycho?
More likely than you. Yeah, you always forget Dimple's a thing.
I forget Dimple exists.
You always forget when Broccoli arc gets animated. You're gonna be like,
who's this?
Yeah, you're not even gonna remember those episodes. You're totally not gonna even register them.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Then they show up at the mansion pretty quickly after that. I mean, I think this whole episode went by pretty fast. I mean, I remember looking at the runtime when I was watching it and being like, oh, we're only like 5 minutes in, and I feel like a lot has already happened.
Yeah. Do you feel like it
jam-packed?
It was rushed a little?
I don't think it was rushed. I think it felt like well paced. I mean, there were a lot of things that we're going to talk about that were cut out of the manga, but I think, that were cut out from the manga, but I think it was well paced overall. But we just got a couple like little flashes of the other characters that are there, which I feel like that part was a little bit more dragged out in the manga. Yeah. But in here it was basically like, here's this guy whose name is Jodo now instead of Shodo.
Yeah, well, if you look at different translations, they do it differently. And then I know some people are upset because they took out the U, similar to how they take out Show's U.
Give him the U.
They're going to take the U and put it into like other characters' names. Mugami.
And Matsuo's around, which is important for the end of next episode, but for now it's just like, oh,
he's just kind of in there.
He's here.
He trying.
Sure is here.
He's trying to rebuild himself after Haw. Good for him. He's doing an actual psychic business.
Matsuo.
Yeah.
Then we meet Minori and her dad, and one thing that was interesting to me was that they skipped the part in the manga where he shows them some video clips of her that are basically like that show, like the Sweet 16 show.
Where she's like I wanted a cheesecake.
Yeah, it's like literally like that in the manga. And that's kind of interesting because it shows that Minori's like not that good of a person. Right. Which is important for like next episode, but at this point we don't really know anything about her.
Right, and it makes sense for like when you get into next episode knowing that, and then, like you can do without it.
Yeah.
I also feel like removing it made Reagan look a bit smarter.
Right. Yeah, because in the manga he compares how she seemed in the video to how she seemed when he was like, talking to her, and that's how he knew.
Yeah.
Like, instead of he's just like a genius.
Yeah, he's just really... Bones is like, Reagan's just really smart.
Reagan is so smart.
And I don't know if I really like that decision, because I like it when, like, if there's, like, a small mystery like that the audience also has all the clues. Yeah, to give them the clues, instead of having a character pull an Ex Machina out of their fucking ass, which really... And this isn't, like, a big one at all. It's
you seem really mad about this.
I'm not. It's a very small, like, example of that, but I do hate it when adaptations get it. But I also understand that they had to cut this.
Right, and it wasn't, like, an important part, so...
Yeah.
I mean, that important of a part. Speaking of Reagan being a genius, the rock, paper, scissors game, one of my favorites.
Yeah, you were like up to this. Everyone's like, oh god, I can't wait to see this animated. And Jenny's like, can't wait to watch Reagan play rock, paper, scissors.
It was great. Yeah. Loved it. So yeah, Reagan talks to Minori, figures out that she's possessed, which I just love that scene for Reagan, that he's like the only one who, because he's not a psychic, he's like able to figure it out, and he's not like blinded by psychic powers. Yeah. Where everyone else is just relying on their psychic powers. He's actually like using his brain. Exactly,
which is like always a thing with Reagan too. Yeah. Is like that's like his thing is like he doesn't have to rely on these powers because first off he doesn't have them, but he realizes there's other parts you should focus on. And plus, like, the line where he's like, I didn't feel like I was talking to a kid. Like, you can take that as like, oh, well, yeah, because the only person he talks to is Mom. But he actually listens to kids. He interacts with them daily.
I really like that line from him because he actually, like, listened to her. And he's, like, really good at reading people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, too, is, like, he can read people really well.
Yeah. Then the glass shatters.
Yeah,
which is cool.
This was such a good cinematic, like, so when I was rereading through the manga with this arc, and I realized, like, the pacing's a bit different. The glass shatters, and then Reagan explains, oh, she probably could hear us through the glass. And in this, it does it right when he's explaining that, which I feel was really, really well changed.
That was a cool touch.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really well done.
Yeah, I liked that whole part a lot.
Yeah.
Although they cut out the cheek scar that he has,
at least
in the manga through the rest of this arc, he has a little scar in his cheek, which I just think is cute.
Don't think it's cute. You think it's...
I think it's cute.
Bones didn't think so.
Bones apparently wasn't as into the cheek scar as I am.
I thought they were gonna sex that shit up.
The first time that they've turned down an opportunity to make Reagan sexier, and he already is. So shocker.
Is. So
disappointment. One of my favorite small things from this was when they showed the little like manga style panels of the rest of the psychics when they're trying to exercise Minori. I thought that was a really great way to do that part, because it's just like little quick things, you don't want to spend a lot of time on it, and it kind of gave it more like of a comedic flair since everyone was just doing really goofy shit.
Right. I like that part too. I like that it's also like a lot of the same designs for the psychics are the same designs for the psychics you see in the very first episode of both this season and the first season, when they're like, there are psychics everywhere, and they show like a stylized like Reagan, how he probably sees himself, and you can actually see Mogami in there too.
Yeah, that's really cool. I wonder if those are things that one drew like before. Are those in the manga as well, or are they only in the anime?
That's parts in the manga, but it's like different characters. It's not the same designs at all.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Then we get a little bit of Mogami's backstory from Dimple. And it was a lot less detailed than it is in the manga.
Yeah.
We don't explicitly get his story that he committed suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's implied pretty heavily, but it's not
implied,
but shown.
Yeah, it's not shown, and it's not like stated outright. I don't know if they'll do it like next episode at all. Because I don't know, the fact that Mogami committed suicide like always like brought out more for his character for me. And I mean, they didn't take it away.
Yeah.
Take that fact away at all, but yeah. So I'm kind of interested to show if they're going to show more Mogami's backstory at all in season 2, because I think he does talk to Mob a little bit more.
Yeah, we might get a little bit more next episode. Yeah. And it also didn't play up as much the fact that Reagan was like inspired by Mogami. Yeah. It just kind of said like, oh, like I heard about him or whatever. Not that he was like sort of directly inspired by him, which I think especially like going in a separation arc where he literally like becomes like a TV psychic for like a day is kind of interesting to have that comparison in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then pretty immediately after that shit gets real, and Minori's like or Mogami's like, I've had enough of this.
He's like, I'm bored.
I'm bored. I'm gonna fuck shit up now.
Yeah.
So Jodo gets possessed. I thought that whole scene was very, very cool and creepy. Like the way that he moved towards them.
It was funny.
And then, of course, Reagan just kneeing him in the gut or whatever it's hilarious. as well as like a setup for separation arc too, because that's why Jodo like wants to get revenge on him.
Just because he need him.
Which is very silly. Like, you were possessed.
Right.
And, whatever.
Which brings up, does he remember getting possessed?
Somebody told him, like, man, that guy needs you. And he's like, who did?
Who? Was it that bitch over there? Was it that ginger bitch?
have to destroy him. Publicly humiliate him on television now. That's the only way. Like, right after that, Reagan gets like choked out by Mogami. Which I just liked that part, because like Reagan, even though it's kind of an overused trope when a character is like making sassy comments while someone's like literally trying to kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Reagan's character in a nutshell.
That's the thing, is it matches really Reagan's
funny.
character, and it's really funny.
I liked it.
Yeah, and it's a good touch.
And then Minori guts her dad. I thought the way that they did that was really cool. I mean, I knew from the trailer that they were going to show like a shadow of it instead of actually showing it. But I liked how they showed like the blood coming out of his mouth,
and then like
the
him,
shadow,
like,
and then the blood. I just thought that was like really effective the way that they did that without it being super gory. Yeah, it still got it across.
That's the thing. Like, these episodes and Mob Psycho as a whole doesn't get super gory at all, but it gives off like a strong impression of it almost.
Yeah, it definitely
it still gives the same effect, which is really good. We didn't get oh fucking hell. Yeah,
we didn't get the reaction that we wanted, which I did not fully expect to get that, because that is just a silly reaction to have to seeing that. But we did get Reagan a little while later saying, "This has gone to shit."
Well, this has gone to shit, yeah.
Which is so funny.
I can't wait to hear that in English. That's really funny.
I love that.
That's so
like,
funny.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd fucking say so, Reagan.
Like, well,
the client's like dead.
After someone gets killed in front of you, this has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Mom.
All right, Mom.
Get out of here.
Yeah. No, instead of doing that, he's like, all right, Mom, time to go.
Yeah, let's
go. It's your turn.
Then, the little cutaway that we got this episode.
The commercial break.
Cutaway. Very
really
cool.
Good.
I yelled.
I was hoping they would do like some sort of fourth wall kind of break with Mogami in some shape or form, like either with like the credits being different or the opening being different or something. But I was really happy with this.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool way to
just like the glass breaking and stuff. Yeah, and
also
rewatching it, I noticed
literally a fourth wall break. Hey!
Right. Oh. But I noticed rewatching it, they also didn't color in the Mob Psycho logo in the background when it was Mogami.
Yeah,
which is really just a small detail, but it was really cool.
Oh yeah. I did notice that. That's interesting. A lot of the fighting of Minori, I never know if to call her Minori or Mogami, but I'll just call her Minori when she's in Minori's body. But Minori fighting the rest of the psychics was pretty streamlined. I feel like it went on quite a bit longer in the manga, as far as like Shinra trying to fight her and all the other guys being like, we need to beat up this kid.
Yeah, they go through a lot of more different like plans.
Reagan and Dimple are like, let's not beat up this kid.
Yeah, you guys are going to kill her.
Yeah. And then they did have the part that I thought was going to be the most horrifying part, and it certainly was, where Mob sort of like puts a hold on Minori, so Mogami like breaks her joints to move, and it was like, the sounds and the way that it was animated was And
it didn't even stop with that. He like was cracking her neck and stuff, and it just was like so painful to watch. Yeah.
That's effective horror, babe.
It was really effective, but it was god.
Right after that, we get Bamf Mob.
Oh yeah, Mob's like, time to go.
You ever forget how cool Mob is? Every once in a while, he just breaks that out, and he's like, time to go wild.
I do love it when Mob goes like that, especially when you first watch it and you see it with Dimple, and he's like, that'll be a hell of a lot easier to use. And I'm like, that boy. Where's the boy I learned about, like, these past 3 episodes? Boy? Where's the soft boy I knew?
He's feral now.
He's feral now. Mama bases taxes.
I'm not to start talking about World Dom arc, but I'm just so excited for some people only learn through pain.
God, that's gonna be so cool. Oh, Jesus.
It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be really good. I'm really excited for that.
So, out of body experience, Yeah, we get little ghost Mob.
He looks like an ocelot.
Yeah, very cute. Cute boy.
I love him.
And then Minori tries to attack them, and one of my favorite small changes was that when Reagan kicks her head, he doesn't drop Mob.
Yeah, in the manga,
he just drops Mob's body to kick her, and in this he was able to do both.
Yeah, like Reagan, you can do
good
both.
Father.
Yeah. It's like, I gotta protect Mob. Also, let me drop him.
I thought that was very nice.
Yeah.
And then throws Reagan across the room, and this is something a lot of people have kind of pointed out that was in the manga as well as in the anime, is that Reagan protects the back of his head right before he gets thrown down, which is like impressive that he has the presence of mind to do that, and in character for him, because like,
well, he's a green belt, and like that's one of the things they teach you, I think, is like,
he's a fighter. He's a scrappy little fighter.
The thing is, he's kind of a scrappy fighter, but he's also like good at it.
Pull a shiv on you. And Dimple Mob.
The thing we were waiting, Dimple
Mob.
Oh
yeah, this for me was what I was most excited about for this episode, because I just think Dimple Mob is so funny.
It is. He's really funny.
In general, Dimple possessions, even though I say I forget about Dimple, I love Dimple possessions.
Yeah.
They're so good every single time.
It's just really kind of fun to see Mob with like a different kind of expression on his face too,
different energy,
and being more jumpy, because like how he does like the little bounces, how he like does like a backflip, and he's like drawn more angular too,
right? Like his face kind of changes, and he has more expressive like eyebrows, and his hair is kind of like, his hair is less of like a bowl cut, fluffy. It's kind of more fluffy. I love it.
Yeah, it's good animation.
It's just good.
So I was really excited for Dimple Mob, and I'm excited to see him again in World Dom, and they give him a fucking gun.
Yeah. Give him a gun.
I always forget they gave Mob a gun. Like in canon.
Give Mob a gun. And of course, that's some dangerous shit you're babbling.
Oh, yes. I can't wait for that.
One of the best lines.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's so good. And then we got the last scene between Mogami and Mob. And they showed this whole scene this episode, which I thought they might kind of start with this scene next episode. So I was glad to see this now, so we'll get a little bit more time for the rest of it next week. But yeah, this scene was really well done. I liked how they had the blue lines
and
around everyone.
The blue lines, and like just the comparison of like their auras with like, and their powers, like with Mob, his is like very blue and like very pure looking, very angelic, while Mogami's is well, that's the thing, and like Mogami's is dark and dirty and red and black, and just like the contrast between their two psychic powers was really cool, and just like really artistically is really cool, and you can really tell a lot about their personalities and how they view psychic powers in the world.
Yeah, it really builds up the contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
Them, which is like thinking ahead to like the big fight
next
episode.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think, well, one more thing about that last scene before we start to talk about next episode. It was just such a hard scene to watch when he's like stepping on Mob's face and stuff. It's just so brutal. It really has the same feel as the Koyama fight in season 1, where it's just like really hard to watch, and I think that's important that they portray it that way, that it's not like a cool badass fight. It's like this kid getting pummeled like violently,
and that's like how they do these scenes, and I'm really happy that they do that, because there's a lot of young anime protagonists doing these fights, which is fine, but like, you don't want to see Mob do this. You don't want to see any of the kids do this.
Not like cool.
It's not cool. They shouldn't. The point is they shouldn't
cool,
be fighting.
kids.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is they're doing these fights that are more adult oriented, and they shouldn't have to do them. And that's like something they really pushed for like season's 1 finale, and I'm glad they kind of keep pushing that. But anyway.
And then I went a little bit into him actually waking up then in the in like the simulation part of it, and then the teaser for next week, very meta. I really liked that, how they changed up the way that all of the other ones have been. I mean, like the season 1 episode 11 one was kind of meta, where it's like Mob doing it, and he's like, this was in Master's will. But this one was a whole nother level. Yeah, it was still humorous, because it still had the like, watch watch the finale in real time. Yeah. And we didn't have anything like that for this
they
teaser.
Didn't do any of, like, an excellent decision thing.
Yeah, so it was just really dark and, like...
It's dark, yeah.
Oh,
shit.
And then they also seem to be switching to, like, sort of a widescreen format for the simulation part.
Widescreen, baby.
Which is interesting. Yeah,
which I'm interested to see how that'll work out, because we were kind of talking about, because in the manga it switches between Mob and the simulation and what Dimple and Reagan are up to. Up to is like they're going shopping or something.
Yeah, what are they up to?
What are those crazy kids doing? Not like that they're like trying to protect Mom or anything. Oh, yeah. So I wonder, because switching back and forth would be kind of
because they would have to go back and forth between that format. So I'm not sure exactly how they'll play that. I mean, I kind of feel like they might start with like a Dimple and Reagan scene.
Yeah, I feel like they will too.
Like the one where maybe all the psychics are like trying to run away, and then this would actually be a good like way to go into the cold open, because you could end with Reagan saying like like I'm staying because he trusts me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would be.
And then I would cry during the entire movie.
And we're gonna make you cry within the opening.
Yeah, good.
Good.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they kind of play that with the pacing and switching between like the mind world part of it and what's happening on the outside. Because those scenes are really important too.
I wonder if they'll just cut it and just like have Dimple show up and then like have Dimple explain like how we got there, and maybe maybe
they could do that
area. I don't know. We'll see how they do it.
But I really want to see the scene where like Dimple, or where Reagan says to him like, "Oh, there's still many ways to use him. Can't let him slip away." Like, that's like one of my favorite parts in this arc. I love that.
I know.
I love whenever Reagan pretends not to care about Mob.
He's like, I got an image to show in front of this fucking ghost.
Yeah. World Denmark. Okay.
Don't even.
Sorry.
Before we end, okay, so going back, I had a question about one of the translation things.
Okay.
Why, when Jodo is getting possessed, I can't even catch what he says, but it just says K?
K? Yeah, he's like Spanish like K.
Suddenly. Yeah. I'm like, what is that?
Who knows?
If someone knows, or if someone hears what he says in Japanese, can someone please explain that to me?
Why it says K?
Or was the Crunchyroll...
Maybe he just said it in Spanish.
Or was the Crunchyroll translators just having a fun time?
They were like, K?
K? I'm not sure. So
maybe he said K in Spanish.
I don't know. I can't even catch what he hears at that part.
I don't know.
I'd have to look again. That was my weekly. I have a question about the translation.
Yeah, what's going on here, guys?
Please explain it.
Yeah, wow.
So, all right.
Next week's gonna be heavy, and the animation just looked really nice from the teaser too.
Oh, it does.
Like it was just looked really.
It does really
like
look
kind
good.
of like unsaturated a little bit in some scenes.
Yeah,
and just like the style looks really good.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually started tearing up during the preview, just because, like, I've also been bullied, but also I don't want to see Mob bullied, and it's just I know what's going on, and like Mogami arc ends on a nice note. It ends like on a really hopeful note, but it's just extremely. It's difficult to watch.
Oh yeah,
and I know it's going to be difficult to watch.
But it'll all be worth
it. It's worth it. It ends on a happy note. But yeah, take breaks if you need to.
But it will be rough.
Yeah. So yeah. There's like a ton of trigger warning lists too people have been making.
Yeah. So although if you're listening to this, you've probably read the manga.
If you've so
otherwise, sorry.
Otherwise, sorry we're spoiling everything from the manga. So yeah.
Ooh.
Mogami next week.
More Mogami. Sort of the heavier part.
You think it'll end next
episode?
Week?
I think so. I mean, with how fast this part went, I can't really see it going. Although we were kind of talking too about, obviously they're going to include like the second part of like the bullying scene. Since they set that up, they're going to include a lot of stuff with Minori. I don't think they're going to include this scene with the teacher at his school, like hitting him, just because they didn't have the setup for that.
Yeah, they didn't show like his
recently.
Kind of bad day.
And I think if they're going to cut out something, like it's going to be that.
I had a small theory, and I don't think they'll do this, but I was wondering if they open this episode like almost exactly how they opened season 1's episode where Mob's kind of having a bad day. He gets called off in class and he doesn't know the answer. He keeps missing the ball in gym, and he doesn't get bullied, but that scene's already been shown.
Yeah, it kind of repeats some of that.
Yeah, so if they repeated it or something, I thought that would be kind of a cool effect. But
or just start with the same like bullying scene with Ritsu.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Ritsu just walks away. You saw what they were doing and you did nothing.
I know it's not the real Ritsu, but I'm still mad at him for that.
Mogami's going through Mom's memories like, who's this kid? I'm going to throw him in there. He's just going to walk away. This will be great. Mogami's just an Ace fanfic writer.
Hot take.
And now we say it.
Yeah. And now we
with no hurt, with all the hurt, none of the comfort.
None of the comfort.
All right, well.
That's it. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
A bummer, but with a happy ending.
As always.
As always.
As always.
Mob Psycho is a positive story.
It is. It really is. Fight on.
Fight
on.
Fight on.